I have no words to say about this other than Stanford's really good, and we put a real disappointing effort into the game, and it's too bad. We were bad in every phase. That's what I would say.
Open the floor for questions here in person.
Hi, Coach. I was wondering if there's something that stood out as more than the rest of the things that you saw throughout the game as what you want to work on moving forward.
Well, clearly we need to work on offense. I mean, we don't know what we're doing at times. It's just we spend a lot of time thinking we're going to have a post presence and we're going to have posts that can help us, and we're just not getting consistency there, and it just put us behind the eight ball. We got real soft, obviously without Ula, that we just didn't have a go-to presence in the post, and that it affects how we run stuff and what we run and the quality in which we run it. We hung with it a little bit in the first half without it, but it just kind of came crashing down because we never, we don't spend a lot of time in offense running doing stuff with a small lineup. I mean, we ended up doing some small lineups that was somewhat effective, but it's just, this is an example of maybe we need to spend more time because we got to find a post, or we got to learn to play without one.
All of that said, the first quarter of that game looked like you guys were with them.
I thought we missed a lot of shots too in the first quarter. I thought we got some really great looks, and I thought they missed a few too. And I thought the second quarter hurt us bad when we started giving up threes. They just seemed very comfortable. Anna Wilson, I think, hit 2, and Hull did, and and Haley was really dominant in the post and in the paint. And that's the thing, is they've just got a lot of weapons. It's hard to guard all their weapons, and you've got to find ways to put points on the board, and we don't score enough points right now to compete with Stanford.
Then in the second half especially, it looked like they did a great job of doubling it every time you guys tried to get it inside. But in terms of the athletes on the floor, I mean, you look like you're comparable with them.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I like our team. I like our players. They give great effort. I think Stanford does a great job recruiting basketball players. They're athletic. They're long. They can shoot it. They can dribble it. They can run. They can pass it. And we're not as skilled as basketball players as they are, I think, in the depth that they have. We have a couple of nice bodies, and we got to work really hard to get them to be, their skill level where they can compete against, talent like Stanford and athletes like Stanford and others in our league. So, but we got some kids on our team that play unbelievably hard and are every bit as good of players and competitors. It's just we don't have enough of them, and it's hard for a couple of kids to carry the load in every phase of the game. Whether that's they got to score it, they have to rebound it, they have to bring it up, they have to pass it, they have to be the emotional, take the hits and try to get people in the right spots. They have to lead. And it's just a lot to ask of just, a handful of kids. And I think, we've got too many that aren't doing enough and to affect the game somewhere. You got to come in and affect the game somewhere. And we just don't have enough bodies and players that are doing that yet. And,
Coach, I know your kids have not been around since 1983 or whenever this started, but does this series, this 0-for series, weigh into this at all or not?
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone, they've been here 3 years. They have no knowledge of that. They know nothing about that. I think that's more of an indication of how good Stanford's been forever. And Washington State's been to 2 NCAA tournaments, so it's traditionally not been a great women's basketball program. That's something we want to change. We got to continue to try to recruit, talent that Stanford's trying to get or develop them into the kind of players that they have. But I think this has a lot more to do with Stanford than it does, just Stanford being really good. And, we probably have a bad record against everybody. That's just the nature of the 40 years of this experience here. It's not, obviously, Stanford's, this over streak is pretty hard, but they're that good. So you can't knock that. Yeah, Bella's a key for us, and I think when we're at our best, she's consistent and she gives us a double-double. She was sick over the holidays, so she was kind of sick, in our 2 games prior to the holiday. So I think her body really gets affected by lack of practice and conditioning. But, at some point, Bella has to be what we need Bella to be. And it's time for her to grow up and be stronger and more of a presence. I think she wants to. She works so hard at it. But, these last couple of weeks, I think she's taken a step back in what she needs to do to help us be successful. And she knows it. She clearly knows it. We got to get her in better shape. We got to get her back, with a better presence inside.
Another big thing that stands out is, the 26-2 in terms of bench points, and that's, obviously you guys without them without Cameron Brink and Ashton Prechtel. How much of that is an emphasis right now is just trying to get more production from, player 1 through player 9, and, not having to rely solely on your 5 starters?
I mean, it's who we are. I just, I don't think we have a lot of offensive scoring punch coming off the bench. I mean, those that are good scorers need to give us a little bit more. I think we've got a couple of posts that have a little bit of range. They didn't make anything tonight. Michaela Jones is a really good 3-point shooter. She's not made a couple, she hadn't gotten many opportunities. But, I wouldn't say that we have a lot of offensive punch off the bench. It's not for lack of wanting it. It's just there are more specialists that are coming off the bench, and they need to provide us. But they, we need them to help us a little bit. Like you said, it's hard for starters to carry that whole load. And clearly in games where we're better, we get a little bit more production off the bench.